Welcome to the Global War Watch Network. Before we jump in, if you're a fan of this kind of analysis, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so today, we're bypassing the usual stealth-heavy F-35 paradigm. We're going to analyze whether South Korea's brand new KF-21 Boramae, with its blend of advanced 4.5 generation tech and a much friendlier price point, can actually shatter the current Western monopoly on fighter jet exports. We're going to weigh its super-fast manufacturing cycle against the established giants and figure out if this jet could redefine strategic procurement for a whole lot of countries out there.
Right. So, to really understand the challenger, we first have to talk about the reigning champion. For the better part of a decade now, one aircraft has just completely dominated the global fighter market, and that's the American F-35 Lightning II. It's really the undisputed benchmark that every other modern fighter gets measured against.
And to even begin to grasp its scale, you have to start with this number: $2 trillion. That's the total projected lifetime cost for the entire F-35 program, stretching all the way out to the year 2088. It is, by a huge margin, the most expensive weapons program in human history.
Now that massive program cost, it trickles all the way down to what it takes just to keep these jets in the air. The cost per flight hour for an F-35A can climb as high as $42,000. And what's really wild is that this number is still way above the Pentagon's own target, which was $25,000 an hour.
This quote just perfectly illustrates what that 42 grand an hour really means. Think about it. A single 90-minute training flight can cost more than $60,000. For most air forces around the world, that kind of price tag makes it incredibly difficult to keep pilots trained and your fleet ready to go.
And look, this level of capability didn't just happen overnight. As you can see from this timeline, the whole program was awarded way back in 2001. But the first jets didn't actually enter service until 2015. And even now, nearly a quarter of a century after it all started, they're still working on just bringing down those long-term maintenance costs. It's a massive, multi-generational effort.
And you know, that really long, really expensive development process, it creates an opening. And right on cue, enter the challenger, South Korea's KF-21 Boramae, which means young hawk. This jet represents a completely different philosophy, one born from a desire for national self-reliance and, frankly, a pretty obvious gap in the market. So, the KF-21 is deliberately called a 4.5 generation fighter. And this isn't a bad thing. It was a strategic choice. It means it's got all the modern goodies like an AESA radar and a stealth-influenced shape, but it skips the most expensive and complex features of a true 5th-gen jet, like internal weapons bays. And that decision is key to keeping development time and costs way, way down.
And this is where the KF-21 story becomes truly remarkable. Just look at this timeline. System development started in 2015. First flight, 2022. Low-rate production kicked off this year, 2024, and it's scheduled to enter service in 2026. That is just over a decade from a blank page to an operational fighter. It's a massive contrast to the F-35's journey.
So you have to ask, how did they pull it off so fast? Well, the answer is just pure pragmatism. Instead of trying to reinvent every single component from scratch, Korea Aerospace Industries integrated proven, off-the-shelf foreign parts, like the American GE F414 engines, with their own cutting-edge domestic systems. This move just slashed the development risk and the timeline.
Okay, so this brings us right to the core of the whole debate. For any nation looking to buy a new fighter, it all boils down to one thing. What do you get for your money? So let's put these two jets head-to-head on the metrics that really matter.
This table lays it all out pretty clearly. Now, the initial purchase price is actually surprisingly similar, but check out the other stats. The KF-21 is actually faster, but the F-35 has that far superior all-aspect stealth thanks to its internal weapons. The biggest shocker here, though, is that estimated cost per flight hour. Yeah, and this bar chart makes that point impossible to miss. The estimated operating cost for the KF-21 is hovering around $20,000 an hour. That's less than half of the F-35. For a country that's going to operate a fleet of these for 30 years, we're talking about billions, literally billions of dollars in savings.
But when you talk about what's going on inside the jet, the avionics, the F-35 is just in a league of its own. Its famous sensor fusion takes all the data from its radar, cameras, and electronic warfare systems and combines it into one simple, intuitive picture for the pilot. The KF-21 has modern systems, for sure, but they just don't have that same level of deep, seamless integration. That unmatched battlefield awareness is really what you're paying the premium for in the F-35.
But you know, a fighter jet purchase is never just about the hardware. This is where the market opportunity for the KF-21 really truly opens up. Because buying an American F-35, well, it often comes with some pretty serious geopolitical strings attached.
Yeah, which leads us to the central question here. If the F-35 offers the absolute ultimate capability, why would any country with the money choose to buy something else? And the answer often has way more to do with politics and national sovereignty than it does with performance specs.
And the perfect example of this is the United Arab Emirates. Back in 2021, they suddenly suspended talks to buy the F-35, and the official reason they gave was a refusal to accept what they called sovereign operational restrictions. In other words, the U.S. was trying to impose rules on how, when, and where they could use the jets that they had paid for.
And these restrictions, they aren't just abstract ideas. For the UAE deal, the U.S. demanded they rip out Huawei technology from their 5G networks over spying fears. Washington also imposes really strict rules to make sure that Israel maintains its qualitative military edge in the Middle East. At the end of the day, buying an F-35 means buying into a whole set of American foreign policy goals.
So it's this combination of really high operating costs and these tough political conditions that's creating a whole new niche in the global fighter market. And it's a niche that the KF-21 seems perfectly tailor-made to fill for all those nations that want advanced capability, but without all the strings attached.
And we're already seeing a ton of interest. Indonesia, who was the original development partner, they have a plan for 48 jets. But the list of potential customers is getting longer and longer. We're talking key players in the Middle East like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, several Southeast Asian nations, and even Peru down in South America.
But probably the most fascinating potential buyer is Poland. Now, Warsaw has already bought F-35s, but they need more heavy fighters to fill out their air force. They're looking at the KF-21 as a potential solution, and they're even talking about co-production. If that deal gets signed, Poland could become the European hub for the Boramae. That would be a massive strategic win for South Korea. So, let's bring all this together. The emergence of the KF-21 isn't just about a new jet hitting the market. No, it's about a fundamental challenge to the way nations think about buying air power here in the 21st century. What we are really looking at are two completely different philosophies in competition. The F-35 represents the relentless pursuit of maximum ultimate capability, where cost and complexity are almost secondary. The KF-21, on the other hand, it represents a more pragmatic path, a good enough philosophy that gives you 80% of the capability for maybe 50% of the operating cost, and you get to keep your full national sovereignty. And this really leaves us with the final critical question. Is the future of air power defined by owning the absolute best aircraft on paper, or is it about having the right aircraft, the one that actually fits your nation's budget, your strategic needs, and your political independence? The success or failure of the KF-21 on the export market is going to give us that answer.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for your time and participation. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons for the Global War Watch Network. We really want to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And join us on social media. All the links are in the description.